Welcome back to One-on-One Sports. I'm now joined by Josh Markowitz and Matt Krause to talk about college hoops and the NCAA tournament. The brackets have been revealed and Louisville was given the #1 overall seed. Guys, are they deserving of that #1 seed?
Yes, absolutely they are. They're #3 in RPI. They're champions of the Big East Conference, the #3 conference in RPI. They've won 10 games in a row. This team has not lost in regulation, or less than 4 overtimes for that matter, since January 26th, and that was a road loss at Georgetown. This team is clicking behind Russ Smith and Gorgui Dieng, and they deserve the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. There's no questions about that.
It has to be Indiana as the overall #1 seed. They have 4 better wins by RPI over Michigan State twice, Georgetown, and Ohio State. And if you look at the AP poll, they have 6 wins better than Louisville's best win, over Syracuse. Indiana is clicking right now, 7-2 against the RPI top 25. Their worst loss is against number 39, Illinois.
I mean, you can take a look at those RPI numbers, but the bottom line is you look at the fact that Louisville has won all these games in a row, and look at their performance in the Big East tournament. They blew out Syracuse in the second half.
Indiana has won the best conference in America in the Big Ten.
That's another question that's arguable about conference rankings.
They've still got those 6 better wins than Louisville's best win.
But still, I think that the Louisville Cardinals, they deserve that #1 overall seed.
I think they should be the #2
And the NCAA says they look at what you've done recently. Louisville's been good recently.
Indiana's been better on the road.
I'm going to have to go with Krause on this one. I think Louisville does deserve it. Indiana got bumped out early on in the Big Ten tournament. That did probably hurt them a little bit in that regard. But in a season, look, we've had so much more parity this season than we have in past seasons. So many upsets. Every team has at least 4 losses. How does that bode for the NCAA tournament in terms of how many big upsets we're going to see?
I don't think it's going to be more than any other year. You see the last 5 years, an average of 9 upsets by seed in the first round and an average of 5 in the second round. I think it's going to stick to that pretty much. I see Davidson beating Marquette. Their floor spacing and their ball movement is impeccable, and Marquette's just not a good three-point shooting team and relies on Vanderbilt too much.
Well, the thing about this season is that this year I think we're going to have a lower-seeded team make a deeper run. We might not see another Lehigh, Duke, or Norfolk State, Missouri, just that 15/2. Of course, that can happen every year. But I think this is the year that we might see one of those deep double-digit seeds, an 11 through 14, somewhere in there, go to the Elite 8 or the Sweet 16 or something like that.
I see Bucknell going to the Sweet 16.
I have Davidson Davidson's going to beat Bucknell in the second round.
That's going to be a good matchup.
And you look even at those big 15-2 upsets, a number 15 seed, Florida Gulf Coast, they beat the #2 seeded Miami Hurricanes.
Without Durant Scott, though.
But still, they beat them. You know, like
Not
anything can
Miami
happen on any day of the week. And this year, you've got those teams. You've got those Davidsons who dominated the Southern Conference. You've got Bucknell, only 5 overall losses. You've got Montana. I heard Doug Gottlieb say on Sunday that he thinks that Montana is going to beat Syracuse. Now, while I think that might be a bit of a stretch, you never know what's going to happen. It's March. And this year, I think, is going to be the year where you've got one of those double-digit seeds making a deep run in the Elite Eight.
I think some of them have bad matchups. Nate Walters in South Dakota State playing Michigan, an elite point guard, and Trey Burke. That's not a good matchup for them. Belmont and Arizona's height with Tarzewski, Ashley, and Jarrett.
Just saying that one team is going to go deep and pull an upset doesn't mean everyone's going to win.
No, but I think some of the best opportunities for teams had problems with their matchups.
Look, you both make great points. I think I'm going to have to go with Josh on this one. Just the way the bracket's been set up this year and what teams got the automatic bids by winning their conference tournaments, not exactly the ones that people may have thought were going to win. So the way the bracket's set up, I just don't see it. I think the higher seeds are going to advance. But the most recent straw poll for the Player of the Year has gone to Trey Burke. People voted him as the Player of the Year candidate right now. Who do you guys see, when it's all said and done, being that Player of the Year?
I'm going to have to go with Kelly Olynyk of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. He plays for the #1 team in the country. And listen to this. He redshirted last season. He didn't play a single game. This year he's scoring 17.5 per game, 7.2 rebounds, and he only, you can say, plays 25.7 minutes a game. He is the leading scorer on the #1 team in the country, which only has 2 losses. Twice this season he's gone over 30 points. How do you not give him Player of the Year?
I think it has to be Victor Oladipo of Indiana, 13.6 points a game, 6.4 rebounds a game, almost as much as Olynyk as a guard.
Almost as much.
But he's a guard, though, not a center, who's supposed to be getting these rebounds. And also his efficiency numbers for a guard have been amazing, shooting 60% field goal, 44% from beyond the arc. I mean, 67% true shooting percentage, 65% effective field goal percentage. He's been dynamite, and he's the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, so he's the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Is his team #1 in the country?
They were for most of the year. He's the best player on the best team. He creates so much excitement. He's so athletic, and his defense and his offense
Okay, so
are
he's
both
so athletic.
game-changing.
He has flashy dunks. It doesn't matter. Kelly Olynyk plays for the #1 team in the country.
He changes the game on both sides of the ball. He deflects so many passes, and he's just so great. 2.2 steals a game. He does everything on the basketball court.
People had heard of him at the beginning of this season. Kelly Olynyk, not a household name at the beginning of the year.
Except
Look at the
on
season
Indiana,
he's turned
it was
in.
supposed to be Cody Zeller's team, and Oladipo has usurped him.
Look, yeah, guys, I love me some Victor Oladipo. That guy is phenomenal. Kelly Olynyk, though, not often we see a huge center like that really dominate the position like he's done this year. I'm going to choose Trey Burke, though, just because I love Trey Burke, and I think he could probably pull something like Kemba Walker did a couple years ago, really taking Michigan kind of far in the tournament, and that could probably push him over the edge to win, but that's just my opinion. Looks like we've run out of time, but when we return, Brian Cross and Justin Beagle will sit down and talk NFL free agency. You do not want to miss it.